Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the different types of cartridges that you can shoot from your either your M1918 1918A2 Browning Automatic Rifle or your Ohio Ordnance 1918A3 self-loading rifle, which is what the majority of us are going to be using. So it takes and accepts a standard 1918 magazine. It holds a 30-06 cartridge. You're going to be shooting one of 3 cartridges out of it. Only 2 different types. At a reenactment, you're going to have your short cased blank cartridge, your long cased blank cartridge, and then if you're, at the range, you're shooting your bullet. So what we have to overcome, and one of the common problems with these rifles feeding is, so if you notice, when you load the live ammunition, you have your bullet that remains under this lip right here in the magazine, right? So when you get rid of that, you try to compensate with the long cased blank that simulates having a bullet here in the front of the magazine, right? Well, that's great. If you can get a hold of these blanks, these ones are the Israeli manufactured 30-06 blank. I believe Swanson makes one similar to this. With my own personal experience, he makes, a certain amount of these and they sell out, and he doesn't make another batch until you ask for them, and then that's whether or not he gets them done in time. So my go-to is the JM Spec short BAR blank. It's specifically designed and loaded for the Ohio Ordnance self-loading rifle, but the drawback is that when you load it into the magazine, there's no bullet or simulated bullet to hold the round straight in the magazine cartridge in the magazine, and so you get this slanted effect right here. I don't know if you can see that, but your cartridges start to slant at an upward angle, and the issue that you run into is when your bolt comes to pick up that round, it will ride over the top of that round, and it won't feed that cartridge into the chamber, right? So the slightest bit of that cartridge being pushed under that lip of that magazine is going to mean the difference between the bolt, this little notch on the bolt, catching the back of that cartridge and riding it up into the chamber. So what I recommend is, and they sell these spacers that go in the front of the magazine here. I'm not really a fan of them. I mean, you can buy them if you want, but you have to disassemble the magazine and bend these tabs back to get the spacer in there, and you end up damaging the magazine. And anybody that's had to buy a certain amount of these knows that these aren't the last things you want to damage. So what I've found is that as long as you prevent oil and grease from getting down in here onto the top of the magazine, this thing's going to run fairly smooth. Along with just making sure that when you're loading your magazines that the cartridges are sitting straight, and before you load it, and I realize that you're kind of loading them into the magazine well of the rifle, in a combat, you might not have the ability to look down and make sure that it's straight, but if you do that one little half second is gonna help you fire this entire magazine with no problems. So those are just some quick little pointers on what's going to help these guns run reliably at the event. And like I said, if you can get a hold of these, the Israeli or the Swanson blanks, this is going to be your your best bet. But if you want to make sure that they're on that you have your blank cartridges in time, I recommend the JM spec. And just take a little bit of extra time when you're loading your magazines to make sure that the front of the cartridge is caught under this lip, and you can even bend the magazine in just a little bit to get it to catch that lip and make sure that it rides smoothly into the chamber. So hopefully that helps and answers some of the questions for the BAR gunners out there. I'll be doing another video on the breakdown and some of the maintenance where you do want to grease and where you do want to oil, and what kind of oil and lubricant I use. So hopefully that helps, and I'll look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks.